just really well played there by SKP, realizing win conditions and realizing how to play the team fight with positioning. Because Freeze had really good positioning. The fact that he only died twice against a Vi and also a Maokai is really a testament to him. Yeah, exactly. An Ari and a Thresh.
How horrible is that game?
Speaking of Thresh, Zaitan 1-4-19, and his Thresh hooks were crazy that game.
Yeah, he was. He was ludicrous, but looks like he is maybe going to get Thresh for himself. NIP do the honor of banning Maokai for SK Prime, so now Kikis gets his Rengar here.
Yeah, here's kind of the thing, though, is if you had left Maokai open, you'd at least get Maokai or Rengar. And NIP did put an emphasis on Rengar last game as their first pick, but instead they just say, we don't want to have that champion even in this game, so let's just ban it out, and then the first pick, Rengar, goes over to Kikis. Now, Kikis had a very scary Rengar game yesterday. Like, I'm talking like 10 assists on it, 0 deaths, I think. But, man, he looked really, really good in that game.
I think he was 1-1-8. I think I remember that going.
It was something.
I think it was 1-1-8 was his score line, and yeah, he camped mid, and it was horrible.
Yeah,
it was just so incredibly rough.
And then everybody was like, everybody's like, oh my god, a player who can play Rengar
in the Western scene,
right?
It's only Americans who suck at it.
Yeah.
Euros know what's going on. Cabochard going for Aurelia this time without the Maokai. Hopefully the matchup goes better for him there, but really wants the early Aurelia. Thresh for Voidal, I like that for NIP because it denies it from Zaitan. But it does mean that Watchbox now gets to play Syndra here, and Z's still gets Lucian.
He gets his Lucian, and granted, you can't really do anything about his champion pool, because if you ban Lucian, he'll play Corki. If you ban those two, he'll play Ezreal. If you ban those three, he'll go Caitlyn. It's lower down his priority list, but he always has a lane bully available to him because that AD carry champion pool is getting bigger and bigger. Maybe he'll go on Graves at some point. You never know.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of Graves, and it's been pretty good so far from what I've seen. But SK Prime, they've got all kinds of crazy assassination potential. They are set up for a good bot lane there, and Smitty is set up to maybe play Riven against Aurelia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, is Smitty going to play Riven against that Aurelia? I think that might be what he's going to go for here.
So we'll see. Right now, Lulex looking to play some Evelynn. Now, this is 413. She did get hit, I would say, kind of the hardest of the top, in my personal opinion, the hardest of the sort of top 3 junglers. Early game damage down pretty significantly on Evelynn. And we're going to see, to me, the first Evelynn I've seen in 413.
Yeah, it's the first Evelynn that we've seen in 413. The fact that she has lower mana cost is really a big compensation for the fact that there's ratio nerfs at earlier ranks. And the whole thing is that Evelynn has lack of scaling in the jungle because you get really just one item for your AD/AP, whichever one you go for, and then you just build tanky from there. If you build any more damage, you're pretty much just going really flimsy build, and you have to be super ahead and not gamble too much because then you just delay your tankiness. And they can catch up.
I got to see what the build is, because I remember when we saw the big Evelynn changes, the Elise changes from about 3 months ago, we just started seeing cooldown reduction at Elise instead, and they started basically capitalizing on the fact that Cocoon was better at later ranks, and they changed the builds around. Potentially we just see AD Evelynn, like burst damage Evelynn becomes a build because of the ratio buffs. Like we might just see it get reinvented. I want to see what Lulex goes for this one, and I want to see what other players do with it as well. SK Prime get Braum for themselves when Thresh is gone, and Smitty J will play top lane Mundo instead of top lane Riven. So
he hovered it.
Yeah, he did hover it. I appreciate that, but also hovered Galio.
Don't appreciate that one.
I actually personally love Galio. I think he's great. Alex is going to go back on Ziggs though, so maybe decides this is still the best champion he can play for here. But he is facing up against a Syndra Rengar, which makes his life pretty scary.
Yeah, that makes it really scary. There's so much gank assistance there between the Rengar and the Syndra. There's a lot of synergy there in terms of the early game ganks. Man.
One thing that is available for Ziggs, though, and I'm pretty sure this is how the mechanics work. Once you see Rengar is coming, I believe you can satchel at your feet, launch yourself away, and launch him back. Even if you are rooted, I believe you'll still go. Much like Jarvan's EQ, you can still satchel charge through a...
That is the interaction. You will not just stand on top of the satchel charge.
It blows up, and you're like, just kidding!
Yeah.
Kate does that. I hate that about Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It's the only move block that fails by roots.
And stuns, too. A lot of the times you're like...
Rise is so horrifying as Caitlyn. Yeah. You're like, net, just kidding, Rune Prison, and I like cry every single time. Someone's cutting onions in my room every single time.
Like this if you cry every time.
No, hate this if you cry every time. Oh my gosh, the matchup's horrible. But Ziggs still coming through, so still some team fight power. The Evelynn jungle as well means more team fight power. Tristana's still there, Thresh still there. Ninjas and Pyjamas, to be honest, have still a pretty good looking lineup. And if they can pull themselves together here, They're no longer facing a Maokai, and honestly, I think it's a pretty good boon for them.
Oh, yeah, banning that one out for themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to a Game 3 and they manage to do that over SKP, they'll first pick the Maokai or force SKP to ban it. Because the fact that they put such a high priority on Rengar and then it didn't pay off for them, they might just go to other champions.
And I know both these top laners have played some Maokai, Cabochard and Smitty, obviously, but Cabochard as well has been playing it a bit in solo queues. So you got to hope for NIP's sake. They know the champion as well. They could even force the ban. Kickus waiting in the brush. Lulex chilling invisible himself.
All right. So while this is happening, it's time to do my favorite part of the game, which is spoil it and tell everybody the win conditions.
Great.
So this is what to look for. SKP are going to do exactly the same thing that they did last game, pretty much from start to finish. It's healing, tanky, peel top laner. You same bottom lane for the most part. You do have some team fighting with the Braum. Then you have Syndra, who's going to, all intents and purposes, do basically the same thing as Ahri. Long range initiate, and then assassination follow up on a single target. Then you have Kickus, who's going to try to make some early game ganks happen, and then dive late in team fights. Pretty much, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same win conditions here for SKP. Then you go over
dive.
Exactly, it's pick and dive. And then NIP, on the other side, they kind of have the same thing going for them too. They have Cabochard, who's got the Aurelia again. They have Alexios on Ziggs. They have Freeze on the Tristana. Pretty much the same thing. Split push, wave clear. Maybe Lulex can make some tax, though. Let's see what happens there at the start of the game with the Schrodinger pressure.
Ooh, well, Q's going to land. Thresh.
So yeah, basically both teams went back to didn't even go back to the drawing board. They just said, all right, we'll just adjust our picks a little bit to do exactly what we did, but with different champions. Maybe do it better this time.
So we're going to get with this one. Z's played around a little bit. Voidal wants to win this battle as best he can. But Zaitan, of course, much easier to push lanes in as a true melee support because you actually get the execute damage there. And looks like SK Prime so far have the smallest of push leads, which means free damage on an NIP that cannot be answered back.
Yep, and the fact that this lane bully's already working out 3 caster minions left at the back of that wave. Usually you'll see that a little thinner this early on, but it's just Zaitan pushing it and using the relic shield very quickly.
Well, a certain level 2 first for SK Prime. Perfect CS so far by them. Kickus gonna go through his jungle, but Lulex looks like he'll get his blue buff through first, so a slightly faster jungle route for the Evelynn so far.
And speaking of Kickus, he ended up placing a ward, backing, and then getting himself a sweeping lens, or I guess the sweeping bone tooth necklace. Not sure how that works, but
I don't think it's even renamed. I think it's just a different color.
It's a red bone tooth necklace.
I don't even think they call it red.
I was just naming.
Oh yeah, it's assumed. Right, okay. I'm good at this one. All right, well, Freeze getting jumped on there. Exhaust popped by everybody else, and now Zaitan, Z's forced to run. Zaitan just barely gets away, and wow, Z's does as well.
Wow, that early game pressure from Lulex, blowing the flashes of everybody in the bottom lane. Look at that, every summoner spell on NIP that was possibly involved in that was blown.
And only 3 from SK Prime. I'm surprised they got away, but you know what? They're back in lane.
3 for 5 in terms of summoner spell efficiency, it's not worth it.
And also keep in mind, Rengar got an extra jungle camp during that, basically. He went and got Wraiths and Wolves together, whereas the Evelynn and Lulex went right to, almost directly to double buff after Wraiths, and now 1 camp ahead. Kickus is going to get a bit of a golden XP lead.
I think he might be just rushing the level 6 and having the lanes just play out their bully style, because Syndra early on will hold toe-to-toe with Ziggs, have a little bit more pressure. Instead of exerting pressure as Rengar early, he might just go for level 6. Be like, oh, chillin'. And he's good.
Yeah, I'm going to see if he can get that. Of course, Lulex did have some good things to do before 6 himself when he was on Rengar. I thought he was one of the better pre-6 Rengars I've seen in getting some good pressure down, so maybe we'll see more good early pressure from Lulex as well, but Kickus still just on the farm train for now. Did back for, I forget the name of the item. Claws, they're red.
Madred's Razor.
Yep, that's the one. Smitty J, though, he's about to be flanked up by Lulex there. Cabochard cannot stun just yet. He can slow at least, though. But the wave is still pushing up and to the right, so Smitty's going to be more flankable soon. Engage comes in, W popped. Flash by Smitty, gets out.
I'm having a little trouble here.
Uh-oh. Root.
He's having trouble
Alex.
too.
There's a Satchel gets stunned up first, though he can't jump away nearly fast
flash
enough.
afterwards.
Losing a lot of health, and Smitty gets re-engaged on.
Smitty goes down. What I was going to say is having trouble here. I don't know why, but Smitty's rocking 10 AP for some reason.
Really?
Yes. I don't know why, because it's not going to help Mundo at all. So...
There's an AP ratio on his W.
Yeah. But that's
I believe
the
not
thing.
On his Q.
There is nothing on his Q, I believe. It's just flat HP. That's why whenever I ARAM Mundo, I always go Spellman. But yeah, they just pick him up so easily here, ganking the pre-6 Mundo. See a bunch of LCS teams do it all of the time with jungle pressure. But I don't know what types of runes and masteries Smitty J's running right now.
Ability power ones.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm trying to do the math. I don't believe, like if you went 9 offense,
no,
that might be the right amount of ability power. Like instead of 2 quints, it was like a mastery thing going 921. He might have not changed his page. Because that sounds like what Maokai would do. Huh.
Yeah.
If it increases over time, we'll know.
I mean, we haven't looked at him. Maybe I was just freaking out.
Maybe it was like Evelyn and it was like, oops.
Ooh. No, I'm pretty sure it was Smitty, but...
I trust you. I do.
No, I don't trust me. I don't know why you do.
Great. All right, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to hit your mute on the entire time, and now we can't hear you talk anymore. I'm just going to solo cast this. Aiden is useless.
No.
All right. I'll let you back in.
Let me in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, this bottom lane just being pushed out right now. Freeze actually a little bit of CS advantage, but there's a huge wave here. And I like the fact that Lulex on the Evelyn is exerting this early pressure. Now, Kikis is going to hit 6 pretty soon. And I want to see where his first gank goes because he can start tilting this table because the game hasn't run away in these first couple of minutes.
But one cool thing about this, though, that Lulex is spamming so much is though he's getting behind in gold, because the buff camps grant so much bonus XP if you're under level, you'll get level 6 off both of them pretty much regardless of how much time you've spent ganking. So aside from the gold tax that Kikis is getting above Lulex, they're still both going to get their ultis here.
He's going to have it very, very shortly. I think it might be after this camp. He'll hit 6, but Lulex actually hits 6 first.
And he's going back to the source of the Mundo.
There's the source of the Mundo.
Yep.
He's going for the Nexus.
Yes, he is.
Going for the champ. He's going for
Going
Smitty
for Zahn.
Going for Smitty J.
There we
no
go.
flash available. Does have
ulti popped early. Ulti from Lulex as well, but he's got a red buff. Smitty trying to run his W is still on, burning his own health bar down, though. Now, can he get away? 300 health. One more slow. One more attack. Can they reach it? Yes, they do. Lulex gets it, and they walk away. Smitty should not have had his W on.
But at the same time, SKP, they're going to go straight for this dragon because they saw the Evelyn was top.
Exactly what you want to do when the jungler shows up on the other side of the map. Early recall spent, but SK Prime are going to get a dragon as payment for the 2 kills on the Mundo, keeping the gold equal.
So SKP know how to operate in this situation. Remember that time that Smitty J was playing Riven top and he went 0-4?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly pretty much the same situation. As soon as you start camping Smitty J in the top, SKP's okay with that. Now, speaking of being okay with that, they're going to go for Alex Each right here.
Satchel comes out. Good job, Alex.
Saw the exclamation point and got immediately out, dodging the bola, the early bola from Kikis.
Well done by Alex Ich. And that is the first Ranger ulti of the game down.
Look at 12 AP. I'm not crazy.
Yep. So he went 9 offense. He has the AP per level and the flat AP.
All right. It's only going to help one stat, one ability.
The W damage.
Very minimal, too.
I think the ratio is like 0.2 per second.
It's pretty
so he does
low,
like
but it's over 5 seconds.
2.4 damage per second extra.
All right.
From his Burning Agony.
Hey, maybe that's the difference between caster minion under a turret and not, but I don't think so, because Masochism is just so much extra AD for Mundo that it wouldn't matter.
It's like
I think he might be running the wrong page.
I think he's just running Maokai Masteries. That's my expectation here.
I don't know.
But Ninjas and Pyjamas up 400 gold so far. Lulex keeps the pink ward coverage down. Spots one himself, though, and says, hey, let's kill that real quick.
Granted, I'm still thinking about the... Nope.
Wow, he wasted his W.
Not quick enough.
That was an entire waste of his W.
It helped him run in a circle a little faster.
Great! He looked pretty.
Yeah.
But stealth back up from the brush.
I know I'm thinking about the mastery thing, but look at this.
Oh, goes in, pops W. Nice slow, though.
Usually you see the Rengar coming from the bush. Oh, Lulex.
Wants it? No. Complete reuse. All right, Kikis gets rid of the ward. And that is 75 gold down the drain. Cooldown boots already done for Kikis, though. His ulti back up as well. Jumping onto Voidal. Nice knockback by Freeze. But the culling is used. Good flash by Voidal. Gets away from the Glacial Fissure.
That is the perfect example of not throwing your hook out is actually more pressure than throwing a hook and having it miss.
Yep.
Just holding on to that ability. And look at the Smitty trying to do a Cabochard. He misses his cleaver.
But he's going to sustain back up, so I think life's going to be okay for him. Most of Triforce done for Cabochard, so he's scaling quite nicely, and Smitty's still got a lot of room to go. 12 minion lead, the early Aurelia is working. He's getting camped by Lulex, and it's paying off.
Yeah, even though I was talking about the 12 AP, it's actually not that big a deal, because in comparison to what you've gotten instead, some AD.
Well, you usually go like 4-26-0 mastery, so he's missing out on about
some extra
4 to 5, maybe even 7 points in the defense tree, depending on what page you would have used otherwise.
And we see a roam coming top from What the Fox. He's going to walk over this ward right now. And Cabochard already committed.
Yeah, he's a little bit slowed down. Cleaver is going to land maybe. Ooh, jumps into the minions. Does get the stun, though. Under the turret, he tried to outplay, but could not quite do it. Kill goes to What the Fox.
Wow, Smitty J, a little bit lower than he should have been, but What the Fox already made that roam happen. Lulex runs mid and immediately capitalizes. NIP putting themselves in good situations, even though they are bad. Making the best of a bad situation, put it that way.
Yes. So in both cases, a top laner dies and his team pushes somewhere else. Tries to make that happen. There you go. Takes the
Got it. Got it.
Siphons that one away. So, very close game right now. Freeze is winning his lane by 7 CS. BF Sword already there on Tristana. Same old, same old. Smitty holding on with the Sunfire Cape top lane. Good enough for him. And I actually wonder how this matchup plays out. Because Mundo buys so much health, the value of true damage goes down slightly. So I feel like Mundo holds up against Aurelia.
Yeah, he does. And the fact that she is all sustained DPS, she can't really burst through his regen of his sadism. So it's kind of a Mundo-favored matchup.
Ooh, not the best. Ziggs ulti actually going to miss most of that melee wave. He went to go take Wolves, lost ulti, and then still ended up missing 1 CS.
So overall, the net worth, not as much as it should have been.
Yeah, like he basically ulted for like 2 wolves. Would you ult for half a wolf camp, you know?
Hey, I do all the time as a jungler.
Great. Smitty, though, getting jumped on, pops the ulti, flashes out, and in comes Kikis. Cabochard taking a whole bunch of damage. Host will flash out as Kikis, though. And that is Lulex getting the kill. This Evelyn does not seem to be held down at all.
Oh, wow. So they immediately blow up Kikis as soon as he jumps into the fight. And that's really big for NIP. They need these kills because last game, they just weren't falling into their hands early.
A little bit of damage onto the jungler. Smitty J really close to dead, but Cabochard cannot quite chase. And look at this. Syndra coming to hold the lane up. Actually, Lulex and Cabochard both incredibly low.
He's looking to kill the lane.
Lulex is spotted. Stun's going to land. W hits as well. Flashes away. Q's going to hit. And What the Fox gets the kill. Now Cabochard's stuck under the turret. Can he get this one too?
Every time I see What the Fox, I'm going to say, oh my god, because the plays he does just bring that out of me. That was fantastic. The flash away to just avoid getting stunned under turret range, and then using another Dark Sphere at the feet of Lulex. He's just playing out of his mind.
Stun just misses Alex Edge. Minefield comes down, but he's got Kikis coming around the wings. No ulti available. Can he jump to the brush? No, he cannot. Zaitan for moral support. And they will kill this pink ward away.
There is a dragon in 10 seconds, so they need to avoid as much poke as possible to put themselves in a healthy situation to contest it and possibly take it.
Oh. He's... Okay, cool. Now he has his heal back. Kikis should be safe. He dodged most of those bouncing bombs.
And now Lulex on that bottom side of the map. Lulex has been setting his team up for success. He has 100% kill participation, but they've all been in the top lane with the help of Cabochard. None of the other lanes are actually that fed. And the TPs up top are down, so those extra little assists aren't going to be present in this fight.
That's going to be interesting then, because Cabochard, to be honest, seems to be more useful. So that's kind of a boon for SK Prime right here. Smitty ults to keep his health back up. And Freeze right now does last hitting under turret. He's been a great late game carry for his team so far, and this time Cabochard's finally having a decent lane for himself, so this could be the recipe for success for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, starting off 0, 1, and 3 in this Mundo matchup, has his Trinity Force completed already. He's ready to be a big factor in these team fights. Aurelia very item dependent, and hitting the Trinity Force in about 15 minutes, 14 minutes, really good. Means you're on a good pace.
Yeah, it really does. Honestly, Cabochard's in a good spot. That is a big change from the first game here. SK Prime getting themselves blue buff number 3. Goes to what? Fox, nice and safe. Lantern comes in, pulls in, freeze. There's Lulex, jumps in towards Zaitan. Glacial Fissure doing a good amount of damage, and Lulex now forced a little bit away, but the hook's going to land on Aziz. Zaitan's got to be careful because there comes a Ziggs ulti, and looks like Aziz might be in a really bad spot as well. One hit from Dead, the jump in, another double kill for Freeze now. Every single time he starts with 2 kills in lane.
This might be a dragon, but let's see what Kikis does. Is he going to pick off Lulex? What's he looking for?
He realized this is a pretty big risk for him, and he's not going to go in for too much. In his Pyjamas with a 2,200 gold lead, now going to push that even farther with a dragon kill. And IP looking real good in game 2.
Kikis looking to clear out the wards. And that's a dragon to NIP. They're going to be up about 3.4k gold now, which is really, really big because the last game was just a demoralizing defeat for them. And SKP, though, basically both teams selected the same win conditions as before in terms of their champion picks. It's just no Maokai on the table now.
But the difference is also that Lulex had such a great game. His Evelyn,
yes.
They rushed the Rengar pick the first time, was moderately useful, but this Evelyn has been everywhere making this game happen. Smitty battling Cabochard. He's in the middle of a minion wave though, pulling in What the Fox. Now can they drop down Cabochard? He's got to outplay this stun somehow. He's trying. Slow's going to miss as well. Gets a knockback, gets the ulti as well. What the Fox is roaming, is helping Smitty so much.
Yeah, What the Fox 2-0-1, mostly off of the roaming and just going top lane every time. He knows that Alex is playing a little bit safer and farming jungle creeps because he doesn't want to be in the lane against that Syndra. Remember what happened last time he was in lane against What the Fox. Doesn't want that type of display again.
The thing is, Syndra's still keeping up minions regardless, despite all these wave clears and whatnot happening from Ziggs. It's just not really, you know, being much of a lead here for Alex Ich. What the Fox 2 kills, gonna be nice. NIP do already have that turret kill in the mid lane though. That is the price that What the Fox has paid for leaving his lane so much.
That might actually hinder his roaming now too, because he'll have to play further up, which gives more gank routes in, especially for somebody like Evelyn. Because he can walk basically completely around your jungle. As long as you have no pink wards up, he's free to roam. Speaking of free to roam, down in that bottom lane right now, looking for something.
Both these junglers around.
Has the ultimate, trying to tip that lane matchup even further into Freeze's favor so he can get in the late game, and here we go again.
There's Arcana Zaitan. They do not have Rengar around. 2-man knocker from the ulti. Unbreakable comes down, but Freeze gonna have the damage. Rock jumps back in. This could be another double kill as Z's goes down. They give the kill to Freeze, and look at that. A 4-0 Tristana.
Yep, and up top, Cabochard actually gets the turret by himself against Smitty J. Smitty J ultimate down already, and man, that turret down bottom is taking a beating. It's going to be those 3 outer turrets for NIP. It's a complete reversal of what was happening last game.
It really is. So 3 turrets go down by about 18 minutes for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They are up 5,500 gold as well. And this game looks so much different from the first one, aside from the fact that Freeze starts out 4-0.
Yeah, and also the fact that What the Fox is doing really well himself in this early game. Those are really the 2 constants that haven't changed throughout this series.
But it looks like the rest of the game working so much better for Ninjas in Pyjamas, and they are continuing to scale a gold lead here. SK Prime, they've really not had any good Rengar ganks this game.
Yeah, that's true. Kikis has not been a part of any kills. He ganked up top and immediately met his demise to Lulex, who appeared. Just back and forth here. But Kikis, on the other hand, he's getting nothing in this back and forth. It's pretty much just all forth.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all back.
Yeah.
Which one's better?
Oh.
Would you rather have back or fourth? Because fourth is like me going forward. I would rather have fourth.
Well, Talking about the other team is 4th on him.
Oh, yeah. Actually.
But yeah, Kickus is just getting pushed back. We'll do it that way.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We'll do it from his perspective.
Oh, my bad. I got
No, that's fine.
turned around. Also, actually, in the Challenger playoffs, 4th is not in the LCS Approach tournament.
4th
you want
bad.
Yeah.
You want back in that case, if there's an option.
I mean, what if back is even worse than 4th?
Back to the LCS.
Ah.
There you go.
All right, Alex Ich, freeze, Voidal.
Blue buff up. Contest looks like it might be in place for SKP, but they decide to back off. It's just a handoff to Alex Ich.
All right, so safe blue buff secure. 5,000 gold lead. Dragon up in 2 minutes. And now it's NIP's turn. What can they do with this turret lead? They've looked so much better this game around.
Oh, Lulex got spotted by a pink ward, so they know exactly where he is and they know what side he's on. Just trying to establish ward control here from NIP's side. Rabadon's death cap completed for Alex, so he's actually got a good item spike coming into this, and actually both top laners are now becoming a part of these fights.
Interesting to look at then, how this can translate in the battles. Mundo, I don't think he's really all that tanky yet though. Death cap Ziggs, I-Edge plus Zeal on Tristana, I feel like life's gonna be really hard for the Dr. Mundo in these battles.
Yeah.
Whereas Cabashard with Triforce, Hexdrinker, Merc Treads will have actually a pretty good time in the fights.
Yeah, and speaking of life in these fights, Smitty's gonna get less back because of the explosive shot, the Grievous Wounds.
Yep. This looks to be dwindling for SK Prime right now. Ninjas and Pyjamas, their new jungler Lulex has been doing a great job for them setting up that top lane, especially 3, 1, and 4 on Evelynn, doing incredibly well and going tanky.
A big thing about this too is the fact that there are 4 kills onto Freeze. I mean, Lulex has 100% kill participation. That's something to really just brag about coming into this matchup that you played against a team that you just lost to a moment ago. Lulex really, really favoring this Evelynn, especially over the Rengar. I wouldn't be surprised if they just completely negate it if this does go to a game 3 and just picked up the Evelynn instead, because it just seems completely worth it.
I definitely agree. The Evelynn pressure has been amazing this game.
Also the fact that when a lot of kills go on an Evelynn, it's not always the most ideal situation because she hits her early game spike and then she kind of falls off and becomes tanky later.
Yeah.
She'll get a little tankier faster, but you aren't going to have these huge mega tanks with this extra damage. But look at that.
Oh man, Kickus just exploded right there. He face checked the wrong brushes. Ulti and flash away from Zayatan. SKP cannot contest these team fights.
Voidal's hooks, fantastic this game. He's been doing a really good job for himself. It's going to be a dragon for NIP, and that's going to put them about 7,000 gold up, 6,000.
I don't know how good SKP are at calling from behind right now, because they're ahead in every single game I've seen them play for almost every single match so far.
Well, that's their style. That's why they picked this lane bully bot lane.
Yeah.
And then the fact that Evelynn was on the map and kept exploiting that lane bully bot lane and getting Freeze ahead was really big, and then visiting top.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is Kickus hasn't been able to actually tip these lanes right here. He's showed up kind of late to top lane a bunch. His ganks have failed mid. Of course, well played by Alex Ich to do that. And both times now, Lulex has done a much better job setting up this bot lane. So, to me, it's like SKP, they've got this weird sort of time frame they're on, because I think Ziggs outscales Syndra, Tristana outscales Lucian, and it really is no chump change endgame here.
Yeah, I would also say that Evelynn slightly outscales the Rengars. Rengar's scaling is pretty bad. But look at this.
And look at this, Smitty trying to get away. 3 men on him. Pops the ulti. Exhaust now on as well.
Tank
One more
fight!
DC could be enough for him. Nice route by Kickus. The flash away. Smitty does survive.
Wow. Smitty
Exhaust for a flash.
Yep. Ends up getting over the wall. Blows his ultimate, but it gives him so much regen. And the stun.
But I don't know what else Wattovox can do. He's popped a blue elixir pretty early in this game. Actually just bought it and used it now, I think, unless it's almost a timeout. So he's trying to bully something with this extra AP and CDR.
He just used it. He's trying to get an extra little edge in his burst. So when he goes for a kill, it'll be the difference between 300 gold and 0.
Hey, it'll pay for the elixir if it happens here for him.
Yeah, he's going to have to find that quickly, though. But man, NIP, 3 pink wards in those inventories just sitting there. But also, 4 pink wards on the map already.
And they can set up Baron so easily. There you go. 2 on top of the Baron pit, 1 in the upper lane. And there is no vision here for SK Prime whatsoever. NIP doing a great job of owning this vision.
Oh, they have 5 pink wards on the map right now, I believe.
Perfect.
They have one in this bush, one in the little river bush to the side from it. Then they have one by the red, one in the Baron pit, and one at the top. There are 5 pink wards on the map for NIP. Everybody doing work in terms of vision game. And
you can see how dark it is for SKP because of all this. Baron would go down plenty rapidly. Mundo goes over to clear wards out, though, so Smitty gonna do what he can to break down some of this. Can't stay around, though. He knows how much threat he's under with no vision here. Voidal in the brush. So SK Prime, what can you do to get back in this game? Because Ninjas and Pyjamas looking to make their comeback in this series.
It's really difficult because with all this vision denial is kind of like a clamp. They've spent about 500, 700 gold on pink wards just to set up this objective. But I don't know if they're actually going to be able to do a Baron. They could maybe bait it, maybe force SKP into a bad situation, and see how they react.
Yeah, well, they're trying to get some picks out of SKP. Voidal's looking for hooks, can't quite find them, though. NIP doing the standard bookkeeping. Aurelia's going to split push bottom. Blue Wolf goes back to Alex Itch. They're not rushing any of this. They're making sure they take all the things that are on the map that are theirs. And to be fair, they've also denied SKP getting the vision control back. They've only killed away one of those wards. Zaitan tries to get some vision control back. He at least gets a little.
Wow, is that avoiding all pink wards?
Yep.
That would be ridiculous.
It's out of range of that pink ward.
Yep. Oh my god.
Support's got to know that stuff, though, right? You got to be so used to that. And it also sees into Baron pit, too, which is cool.
That's super sneaky right there. That's a really good ward by Zaitan. I don't even know if he knows how brilliant that ward is.
I trust. I got to know he knows.
In this situation.
Voidal with the oracles, though, says, that is a ward, and we've got to kill that.
Aha! Found it. And now, NIP, just this stranglehold of vision. A lot of it wasn't cleared out by Smitty J, but now, Kikis, there's just a minefield of pinks. He's making sure that they aren't doing the Baron just yet.
And they're only baiting it.
Vision.
But Smitty's about to show bot lane here, so now NIP knows they can force a TP by starting Baron. Sweep the wards away. They're like, wait, did they know? They didn't know. And they didn't see the exclamation point either. I don't know if they even know they got seen.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know that Kikis used his ultimate, but look at this. Ooh, they sweeping out, they exchanging, and they don't have anything left for that ward. They're going to have to have Cabochard use his sweeper to get that ward off, or they're going to use a pink ward and vision. And they started up. That vision, that ward, I think, may have given them the vision for that extra second when it's destroyed.
Well, there's the Baron attempt. Looks like SKP not going to react at all. They're going to get bottom lane outer turret. They're going to shove down mid as well.
The hook.
And Kikis, the face checks again. The wrong brush flashes away. He's got to be real careful, though. CC does not land on a Voidal. Kikis falls over. Baron goes down as well. 1-0 so far. Cabochard nearly in range of Watt to Fox. And in comes Lulex. Evelyn has the ulti, burns it. There's a slow, there's a CC, and down goes Watt to Fox. 2 kills picked up to NIP.
That's Watt to Fox's first death of this entire series, and it might result in a tower being taken middle. But look at this. Cabochard is forced to back because he has to deal with this split push of Mundo, who got himself a turret, and he's looking for his second one of this push.
Well, he's making some pretty good progress there. The E doing plenty of damage, 3 points in that one. Now 19 ability power on Mundo. Such a big damage source with that W. 4 extra damage per tick. What a glorious person. Seeing wave clear from Z is doing just a little bit here. Still turret lead, Baron lead, kill lead, all of these going to NIP.
Wow. The base almost cracked here. It's a complete role reversal in terms of what these teams are doing for themselves. The objectives falling into NIP's hands, the towers falling into their hands. Their kills early on working really well. And then the jungle pressure. 3-1 and 5 for Lulex. 0-3-0 for Kikis.
Lulex having just such a better game right now. And again, the Rengar ganks aren't working. I mean, you look at where he tried to show up, he never went bottom. He did try mid, but top lane is a losing matchup.
Yeah.
He's going to get outfought by Elvin, as we were seeing. And he's honestly also got a worse matchup with Mundo versus Aurelia. You saw Smitty J just die too fast.
That matchup got tilted very early on.
Yep.
The pre-6 gank from Lulex really coming up big and getting Cabochard to his item thresholds that he needs. Like, considering how much further he's gotten since that 14-minute mark, we bought the Trinity Force. Now he's got a Hex Drinker, and he's on his way to a Warden's Mail. It's not all that much more, But the fact that he hit that item spike very early for the Trinity Force kept him very safe and made him very relevant in the game. And something else I want to talk about is relevancy is the fact that Freeze and Voidal both have pink wards. Freeze is buying pink wards as an AD carry.
Yep.
Loving it.
You know it's a DPS loss? If that was a longsword, he'd be doing more damage.
What if it was a potion?
I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I mean, Freeze definitely doing the right thing here, man. He's been great this series so far. 4-0-3. This game, what, 7-1-5 in the first one, something like that? I think 7-2-2.
Smitty goes back to the scene of the crime. He gets himself a turret in that bottom lane. He's going to trade the tier 2 for a tier 2.
Yeah, NIP, honestly, though, it's just so much easier for them to push. You're seeing them get this one down. Good by SKP to get some turret kills, but it's kind of the only place going reasonably well is that bot lane split push. Smitty is a level up on Cabochard, who bought a red elixir here. But with Baron buff, you can't win that fight.
Smitty J is actually doing really well for himself. He's level 16. He's a little bit up on Cabochard. He has that rank 3 ultimate. But frankly, there haven't been a lot of full-on team fights. SKP just have not been engaging these team fights. Whereas when NIP was behind, they kept team fighting over and over again. But man, Smitty, is he going to get caught? Hook onto him!
What a hook from Voidal. The flay back as well. Ulti not yet popped by Lulux, but there's the Glacial Fissure. They're trying to fight this battle, but they got to be real careful. Syndra ulti going to come through, does not take him down, though. Voidal in the front line. Zaitan, one hit from dead, pops the shield. In comes Freeze, and Alex Ich gets the kill. 1-for-0. Here's the push coming on back through. We are still watching this game despite that screen up there. They're going to go on in, taking down the bottom lane tier 2 turret. Keep on moving forward as minions keep dying down here. 9,000 gold lead. NIP now sieging up.
They're ready to push this base down. They no longer have a support or a wall to block that incoming damage onto that turret. NIP attempting to close this game out.
We got rid of that screen. They keep on moving forward. SK Prime trying to defend, but they are down so much right now. Ninjas and Pyjamas. The early game lead, the early game ganks from Lulux converted just fine. Freeze a full item up on his AD carry counterpart.
Wow. And the fact that he's just such a hyper carry late game champion, and he's hit those 3 item spikes, and he went for the Last Whisper, third item, instead of the Bloodthirster this game. So realizing that he needed that penetration earlier, his build order definitely matters. Because when you hit those spikes, in relative where other people
kill Mundo otherwise.
Exactly. Those 2 armor items and the fact that he has Ninja Tabi on top of him really going to help him out. And at the same time, you go over to Z's, and he has Blade of the Ruined King Yumu's. His build is mid-game focused, but Freeze, once again, has already passed him in effective teamfight DPS. Even with those 2 actives, Z's would pretty much go slightly less than even if they were to even duel each other.
Yeah.
And if Freeze had a red buff, he would just kite Z's around really hard.
And it'd be pretty rough.
Yeah, because always keep in mind the fact that Relentless Pursuit no longer removes slows. It's really big in an 80 carry duel with red.
It's true. Freeze just massive. Level 15. Refresh on the red buff, because why the heck not? Getting some MR just to be safe against what the Fox knows to not die.
Oh, the flash flay.
And they're going to hook on in. Ulti pop as well. Watt the Fox nearly going down. Pops the ulti. Does not kill Freeze. He heals and gets out. And now into the front lines. Lulux chasing down Z's. Not even feeling pain there. Cabochard claims the kill. And now Zaitan going to get chunked down. He goes. Double kill for Freeze. SK Prime forced to run away. Only Smitty J is alive. This is sure to be game for NIP.
NIP, they're 30 seconds on the respawn timers here from SKP. Cabochard already knocking on this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, inhibitor turret's going to be going down. Inhibitor soon and sure to follow afterwards. This is going to be dropping all kinds of quick. All that's dropping down. And what else can you say, man? 15 seconds on the respawn. Is this going to be the game right here? They are trying. Smitty J doing what he can to defend the next, but I don't know if it's quite going to be enough. Turret number 1's going to be going down. Cabochard holding aggro. Now Alex Ich is. Turret number 2 goes down. The respawns are coming in, but the Nexus is already falling. NIP in 34 minutes going to tie the series up 1-1. And now both teams 1 game away from the finals.
1 game away from the finals, 1 game away from a spot in the promotion tournament, and basically validation for their last couple months of hard work in the Challenger Series and getting this far. So if you follow that 3rd, 4th place match, there's still a gamble that you might not make it.
Yeah, and H2K as well as Unicorns of Love, definitely no pushovers. One of those guys is going to be in that 3rd place match, and will be battling the loser of this game for that final promotion spot either way. So You look at this game, and NIP, I think, fixed the things that went wrong. They fixed the Maokai issue. They chopped them down in the ban phase. The bot lane still won. The mid lane recovered really well. They got rid of... they didn't ban Ahri, did they? So they just managed to just get themselves a different matchup, and Alex had held on. He didn't get... Basically, he didn't get 1v1 to level 2. They denied the Maokai that was winning the team fights for SK Prime. And Lulex just went mental on Evelynn.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, Kikis, 0, 4, and 1. Like, there's a big thing to point out here, is that there were 4 kills for SKP. Only 3 assists in that entire game.
Wow.
So most of them were solo kills. Some of them were just somebody diving. And then
it was like, WTF roaming top.
Exactly.
That was most of them.
He roamed top, and he's like, all right, kill an assist, kill, you know. Yeah. These types of kills aren't extremely beneficial for the team because not enough people are benefiting from them. Whereas on the side of NIP, 16 kills, 42 assists. Yeah. So a lot more people getting in on those team fights and getting gold that wouldn't have otherwise been given to that team as a whole. Right. So the fact that SKP had a jungler that was 0, 4, and 1 and didn't do really anything in the early game, he ended the game level 13, 3 levels down on what Lulex was. Lulex, 3, 2, and 10. Involved in 13 of these 16 kills, really doing a ton of work. Had 100% kill participation for a while.
Yeah.
He's showing that he's a good pickup here for NIP in this match. Now, the thing is, both these teams have had lopsided matches now, and I'm glad we're going into a Game 3 here because this needs some just conclusion on top, some closure on this series on which team is really the better team because they've gone back and forth. When they were in the finals against each other, went back and forth, 2-1 eventually in favor of SKP. Right now, it's evened up, 1-1.
Yeah. So for me, you look at this Game 3, you got to think, what do the teams have to do to win? So NIP, they know their bot lane is better. It's consistently been going equal as Trist, which is very good against Lucian, and it just has such a higher ceiling by late game. Lulex has been doing a good job of going to that lane when it's going to get kills. When he ganks bot, aside from that first one that just barely failed, when he ganks bot, double kills happen. Yeah. Lulex is repeatedly there at the right time to make that go down. And as long as top lane doesn't get screwed over, like as long as their lanes don't lose for free 1v1, it just seems like Lulex has that gank pressure, and they've got the individual skill that NIP just wins from that.
Yeah, the individual skill of NIP just seems a little bit higher there, but at the same time, WTF, when he solo killed Alex, he made a statement. And now Alex this game was playing a lot more scared than he usually does. His roaming, he was kind of just walking off to the side. I have to clear this wave with my ultimate so that I can keep up in CS.
Well, the thing is, that's okay for NIP because they have freeze. Oh, yeah. Freeze starts every game 4-0. So, like, NIP, I feel like, are okay with that game plan. Alex can play safe and just say, you know what? No death is okay. I'll join up in team fights. For SK Prime, though, I think what they've got to do is either find a way to counter gank bot lane, which is really risky, but if it works, they win the game off it, or they get Kikis in on those matches where he can win. Because when the Muno keeps getting held down, when Smitty keeps getting camped and destroyed by Lulex, who's honestly out jungling Kikis right now, you've got to fix that first. Because that's a matchup you can win an individual skill, and you can't let the jungler tip that away from you. So for me, SK Prime, it's like, get top lane set up, do whatever it takes. And it's weird because as much as Smitty's okay getting camped, if it means objectives elsewhere, the fact that bot lane's already losing means you can't just be like, oh, just lose top and bot for free. We'll get dragons. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, and just to give an idea of how badly that bottom lane lost, the combined score of Z's and Zaitan that game, 0, 7, and 0. No kills, no assists in that bot lane. Pretty much just a source of food for Freeze and Voidal.
Yeah, and speaking of sources for food, Freeze was up 4.2 thousand gold that game, 13.9K. Actually, the support was also up almost 4,000 as well, 5.9 to 9.5. So bot lane, big point for NIP. SK Prime got to fix some of these issues, get top lane, I think, going personally, and we'll see what happens. Well, guys, these scores now all knotted up 1-1. The next victory is going to be everything. It's going to be all the marbles, especially that big one with the swirl in the middle. The sides of Game 3 between Ninjas and Pyjamas and SK Gaming Prime right after this. Don't go anywhere.
It's called the game. He's looking to kill the lane.
Looks spotted. Oh, Stun's going to land. W hits as well. Flashes away. Q's going to hit.
God.
And watch out. The Vox gets the kill. Two-man Nugger from the ulti. Unbreakable comes down, but Freeze gonna have the damage. Rock jumps back in. This could be another double kill as Z's goes down. They're trying to fight this battle, but they gotta be real careful. Syndra ulti gonna come through, does not take him down, though. Void on the front line. Zaitan, one hit from dead, pops the shield. In comes Freeze, and Alex Itch gets the kill. He heals and gets out, and now into the front lines. Lulex chasing down Z's, not even feeling pain there. Cabochard claims the kill, and now Zaitan gonna get chunked down. He goes, double kill for Freeze.